Welcome back to Ixion. Tiqqun is still alive, that's great. This is the third episode, so don't hesitate to check in the video description below if you want to see the previous ones. In the first one, I showed you how you can get a lot out of the prologue. Most people just, spend a couple of cycles in the prologue. I spent almost 100 in the prologue and we got a lot of things. And similarly, here we're still in chapter 1. We haven't jumped out of the solar system yet. Probably in this episode we will, but there is a lot of things you can do over here. There's a lot of planets, right? All of the planets of the solar system that you can discover. We got a lot of resources, a lot of cryogenic pods. I mean, we're already at more than 200. A lot of research points, right? Look over here. I've already done most of tier 1. We're gonna get tier 2 very soon. We have also unlocked just now at the end of the last episode, the second episode, this second sector. So now it's gonna be critical, to put obviously some roads, connect this whole thing quickly. Let's go. I'm doing it live so that you see how you may want to do it. So this one is not connected. Right? You need just one connection, right? You don't need more than one. So as soon as you see a green tick, you're good. Okay, here, there, up, up. Okay, I feel like we've connected most of them already. We can check that in a sec. We will need for sure a workshop. So let's put one over here. We will also need some stockpiles, right? To stockpile all of these resources in particular. Some food, some of these. There is also a bit of these ones, but that can wait a bit. We're gonna need a mess hall. That doesn't fit there, okay. Fit here, okay. And we're gonna need right away also a couple of houses for people. So let's go, start 3. So that's 45. I sent 40 people, so it should be fine. Okay, so let's let's that work for a bit. And in the meantime, we can check on this one. This is working pretty well. I think we have actually a lot of people doing nothing.
A side ship has arrived at its destination.
So what I'm thinking is we're going to restart science. We're a bit in extra hours, but I can also stop this, for example, and soon.
A side ship team has completed a task.
Soon we'll be finished also with this mission. We are halfway through the 50 cryonic pods. That's great. And last but not least, I had completely forgotten that you do start with the docking bay on the top there, right? All of these space things you need to put on the side, but you have two sides, right? And if you look at this, right, it can be on this side here, but can be on that side there. So that is basically a bit of a mistake I made, sorry. So now we can delete it, because in the future, I don't think we're gonna want so many in this one. I think actually we're gonna put here my industry. So I'm pretty sure we're gonna, delete, put a couple on this side. What else? Yeah, so this is being deleted. My people are happy, great. We have some iron, we're making some more of these. Love it. So let's check on the map. We have Outer Hope over here. Nice. Battle, well, nice. I'm talking about the reward, 20. So the battle seems to have made up of multiple engagements with debris from the conflict, mostly consisting of wrecked shuttles. There is the UN, DOLOS, and BMS, the pirates, okay? But most importantly, now we can search inside, okay? We have also still a bit of iron there. Yeah, there's still a lot of iron, so we're good there. There's some resources to pick up. We're picking up over here, for example, a couple of those electronics, and we have also arrived to Neptune. Last time we went to Saturn, now we can go to Neptune. Oh, there's a lot of things we can do. Our communication system have detected faint signals transmitting from what appear to be an old luxury station. Okay. Transmission analysis pulled a few data fragments encoded. They mentioned public disorder, food supply problems, and the name Ulix. I feel like we saw that name before. Tiqqun station has been almost entirely dismantled. The few areas left suggest that those who lived here were swimming in opulence. Okay. We have found a seal room protected by heavily armored blast door. Dents in the door suggests that others have unsuccessfully tried to gain entry. Okay. So we can either use just take what's available. Provoke a structural collapse. Okay. Use explosive to breach the door. Use the Ulix biometric data. I think we got those ones in Saturn. So that seems like what we should be doing. So let's try that one first. Because hopefully if we have the code, that would be easier. And the good thing is now that we have roads, we can start collecting all of these resources. So let's go. We do have, by the way, a small problem on our hull integrity, but I'm not worried. Why? Because we're very close, we're only losing -4, and we are only at 53% efficiency. So when the efficiency increases, when the hull, goes down, let's say when we're at 600, for example, efficiency is gonna go up, and at that point we should be balancing. In the future, we'll want for sure a second EVA, but we can start without one. It seems like I didn't connect a couple of these over here. Okay, so yeah, we're getting all of those resources. We're starting to make also, food is fine over here. We will need to start transferring food, or we'll need to start making food locally. I feel like right now our best bet is probably to just make a bit locally of food. Like if you look over here, we are making basically what is needed for this sector, so it's fine. We're gonna keep it as is. And then we can do the same over here instead of transporting for now. I'm going to put it, it's a good question, which side?
A science ship team has completed a task.
And it is
Administrator, a new request awaits your attention.
And it is the end of Outer Hope. Outer Hope lies in ruin. Many unborn bodies were found in the remains of the station. Wow. Great care and attention seems to have been paid to the bodies. The Copernicus team traced the emergency broadcast. Okay, we discovered a hidden room buried beneath the detritus. The room was sealed. Okay. But with Tiqqun identification code, we were able to enter. Wow. Truth is a story that best resists reality. Inside, the team found Outer Hope's black box, a number of resources, a data log. It contained the following message. Administrator, you carry with you what the echo of the future allows us to create. Oh. The black box data can be analyzed in the tech lab. We got 40 science resource, couple more people and resources, so that's great. And then, there's no reason to not dismantle it. So let's dismantle it and hopefully get even more resource. Neptune, we're gonna get there also in a sec. And yeah, there's not much else for us to be doing over here, I think. So let's just finish that one quickly. And
a science ship team has completed a task.
Okay. The room security system were designed to read biometric data. The door were set only to open for Ulix, which I guess were the people living there. Inside the room were large quantity of resources necessary for the survival. Security protocol may have been put in place in anticipation of a staff revolt. So got again more cryonic pods, some more science, etc., and a technology upgrade. So that's pretty cool. Not much else for us to do there. So we're gonna get the science, the resource, and then I think we're gonna need to go home. Last but not least, we have over here Outer Hope that is also finished. We've dismantled it. We got a bit more alloy and polymers. So that's great. That enables us, to expand a bit more quickly. We're gonna get all of the science and we're gonna do more research. And then again, I don't think there's much more for us to be doing over here, but we definitely will want to continue expanding. I'm thinking maybe let's check also on our solar panels. 45, it's a lot, but I do think it'd be good to have at least one more done before we move on. And here, we found this, so they want us, to research it over here.
New upgrades are available for research.
Yep. So, like I was saying, now that we've finished most of the research of tier 1, we've unlocked tier 2, where there is a lot of new things like crop farm, mushroom wall, etc. But we also get access to some first improvements. The first one we're gonna do right away. No, let's do it right away. Is instead of gaining, what was it? Like 1 every 30 cycles. Now with this improvement of the tech lab, assistant promotion, we're gonna get 3 units of research every 5 cycles. And that's why I'm doing it right away. I think there's no time like the present for this one. But we're also gonna want to do more. We're gonna want to improve our science ship to be able, to visit, for example, gas planets, or to be able, to allow for unique interaction during certain events. Then we're gonna want for sure to do also EVA airlock. Tell them what they need to hear. Repair efficiency increased by 5%. That's huge, right? So there's a lot of research we're gonna need to do. We're gonna want also to get into waste, colonization is gonna come soon. So there's a lot of research. Unfortunately, it's not like there is a lot more of these kind of how do you call it, research points that are available right on this chapter, but we have all of these to fix first. So let's go. We're gonna continue. Yeah, electronics is fine, I don't need it now. We're gonna continue to store a bit more of these one. So let's get all of this. As you can see, it's not a huge amount of resource, but it's definitely helpful for us to get started. I will need also one for that guy, I guess. Okay, so all of these built, done. This one, by the way, we've given us a bit of space. That's great. We are not making enough food over here, so let's restart that one. Now, we will in the next cycle. We are done with the pods, by the way, so that's great. Let's pause that. And what we may want to do soon is also move people onto this new one. But I will do that after we've cleaned everything. So as I mentioned before, it's time for us to start sending people from sector 1 to sector 2. Let's start with 10. I think that should keep us fine on both sides. I am building also now an infirmary because we've got a first accident. There are 4 people that are injured, so definitely need to fix this. I need to restart that one so that we can empty this carbon, right? And yeah, if we look quickly at the map there, I think we have basically done it all. There's some resource here. I'm gonna want to take another spots. I guess we're gonna want these to go back. Now there's nothing left for us to find. Let's double check or triple check that we don't find any movement on the point of interest, right? Or objective over here. Including if we go very far. No. I'm not seeing anything for point of interest. There is more resources, of course, but point of interest, I'm not seeing any. So we've upgraded our tech lab. You can see here this yellow bar. This is because we've done one. There is one more available if we want, but this is research speed. I don't think we should waste our money on that right now. What I'm thinking is we're going to improve our crew quarters because we have optimized quarter over here. Instead of 15 in limited quality accommodation, this is going to be 40 in average quality accommodation. So we're going to do that one first. The domotic one is interesting too because it's high quality and it's 70, but this is tier 3. And by the way, it also requires anyway optimized quarter. So we're going to start with this one. And when that's done, we can start moving. Now there is also the cell housing over here, but this is minimum quality accommodation. You know, your people are not going to be happy over there. So that's why I don't love it. And it's also more points, by the way. So let's get started. As I said, I want these to become as much as possible my industry hub. So for it to be an industry hub, we're gonna need docking. And as I mentioned before, you can put them on each side. I think I'm gonna put them on this side so we can really see the resources coming out. I'm thinking we're gonna at the end put one on each side, which we need to move a couple of things, but we have a first one there. Then I want to see steel mill. And if I put it next to it, yeah, that is pretty good like this. We have that, and then I'm thinking I do the same on this side, and then some, you know, storages, because we want to make it simple for them to transport everything, right? Then we're probably going to have to put you know, other things in the middle, including some population, and then maybe we put the other production. So I've unlocked, you know, the electronics one, the polymer one. Maybe we put them on this other side there. If I do something like this, because this way again it's not too hard to deliver. I'm going to place it and pause it. It's a lot of resource, but it's a bit to see how that works. Put a polymer there next to it. I like that it's the same size, and yeah, it seems like, you know, then I can put in the middle something, so that's fine. And then maybe if I look at these ones, now this is bigger, but maybe there is one in the middle there, type of thing. We'll see how much space is left. And then in the middle, as I said, this is where we're going to want to put a bit of population, some more storages, the mess hall, those type of things. So let's see. With this, I probably also need a road there to connect to the next sector and to connect to the bottom. Actually, can I go all the way? Yes, we can. So that's perfect. For now, I'm going to leave it like this. Maybe later we'll go to the end and do the same. Okay, so at least now it is connected, so the robot is starting to build, right? We're gonna need more population obviously for all of this, but that's fine. We're gonna need also quite a lot of these resources, 110, how many we have there? That's gonna use all of this, basically to build that. We do have some reserves on this side though, so I can start also sending some more. Let's make sure that, you know, this one stays at 100 basically. Right, that's the idea. We can go more complex in the future, by the way. And yeah, instead of, you know, delivering the resources there, we can deliver them over here. And the thing too, though, is we don't need, I mean, if you look at this one, right, we have one of each. We have one cargo, we have one science, one mining. You don't need to do that, right? What we're gonna do here is probably more free cargo, to be honest, and nothing else. And then we can have my science over here and maybe mining too. We do know that we also want a second EVA. I'm just wondering, I don't think it makes sense for us to put it here. I think we're gonna put maybe over there. Ladies and gentlemen, we're making some progress. We have built the docking bay over here. We've also built a first optimized quarter. So this was the research we were doing, right? Instead of 3 by 3, this is actually 6 by 3. So we can put 2 of these, right? You can see this is exactly 2 of these, but this is more efficient, right? This is more efficient for a couple of reasons. First one, it's 40 people instead of, 2 times 15, which is 30. Similarly, it is only taking 2 of energy, so it's the, you double the energy, but it's way more people. And last but not least, as we said, the happiness is going to be better. Now, the only problem is right now they're being overworked, so we're going to need to fix that, like send more people in, but otherwise all good. Now, one thing I did want to show you is it's quite important that instead of deleting this one or any of these, you're going to move the ships, right? We're going to move those ships because you don't want to lose the experience. Right now they're level 1, but they could soon move to level 2. So we want to make sure that we don't have to recreate new ones. We just move them. And right now I guess 2 is fine, but in the future we can have a third one, like I mentioned before. Oh, we have, many people that are sick. That is also why I guess they were not so happy. We will also want to start building a second one, so let's unpause this. We have the resources. Now there is 5, by the way, drones for each of these stockpile. So it is a bit also important to think about, is 5 enough? Right? In particular, in something like this, we're gonna want probably quite a few of these depots just to have enough drones and not so much for the actual storage. But there is 5 of coming back, so they're gonna deliver there, right? And we're gonna want to do the same on this side. Now the question is where. I mean, I guess we could put it over here because we have the space. We're gonna want anyway to reorganize this at some point, so that is fine. What I'm thinking is oh, we're doing maintenance, okay. What I'm thinking is we may also want to start deleting one of these by moving Copernicus over here. Good. That way, that means soon there will be nobody left over here, right? And then we can delete it. Replace it maybe with an EVA, even if we're actually right now totally fine. My efficiency is higher, so we're making 45 of hull repair per minute, so all good there. I haven't started another research yet because we don't have that much. I would love to be able to do a couple more before we jump, but I'm not sure we're gonna be able to. So in the meantime, maybe let's just do the outer hub black box, because anyway this is a free it takes 0. Oh, that's not good. Oh, an accident in the infirmary. So what we may want to do is to have 2 infirmaries, so that if there is an accident or fire in one of the infirmary, the other one is still working. We've done the research over here of the black box, so let's see. The black box data has provided some information on the event that took place following the Tiqqun fail jump. Record tells us how the Earth was ravaged by this lunar clism. In the ensuing chaos, state radicalized, the UN declared DOLOS enemy of humanity. Oof. There was a DOLOS facility hidden in the atmosphere of Jupiter, officially designated Hephaestus. The site was used to develop a new type of engine. It also accommodated the construction of a Taurus-class superstructure. Okay, so I guess basically we need to go there. So let's go here. We're gonna move to Jupiter or Galileo, and I think, if I remember correctly, we're gonna need also the Tiqqun. But no, wait, we can't do that. I didn't build batteries yet. Why do I need to build batteries, ladies and gents? Forgot about this. So this is maybe a good next step, but I also wanted to do the population. So let me see, batteries. I can fit. Maybe I put the batteries here after I build a new population hub.
Complete.
So let's see. Here I can fit 1, and then I can fit another one there. Let's go. I mean, we're not gonna need that many, but let's put 4. Now they need a road, but spoiler alert, you only need a road to build them. After it, I think you can actually delete it. But anyway, 4 should be enough to get us started, and then with that we can delete these ones. This is gonna use a lot of my iron, or alloy, sorry, but that's okay. Here we're deleting many things. we have not started to get that one going, okay. Now I was thinking, where are we going to put the storage on this side? Because here, if I put it over
A
here,
science ship has arrived at its destination.
I can actually put 2 and have 1 left. And if I put it this side, it's basically the same for... not sure. Yes, that means we could put a bigger building in the future there. But for now, maybe what I do is I do this, and then we put a road slightly there. Okay, so you're gonna be storage of alloy, because we're producing it just in front, right? And remember, my goal is to put another one on this side for sure. Okay, how are we doing? We're still overworking my people there. Maybe we stop some food. I mean, I need to just send more people, basically, I guess is the point. Or is it that we have... Oh, we have 25 non-workers. That's not great. That's not great. I wanted to send only the workers. My bad. So, let's send the non-workers from Sector 2 to Sector 1. As many as we have. I guess we have something like 25. Okay. And then instead, send only workers from Sector 1 to Sector 2, 25. Okay. I have restarted also the cryogenic.
In the Tiqqun.
Yeah, it's because they are being overworked here. So that is really not great. We need to pause some of those things for a while, I think. Okay, now we're in optimal on both sides. I mean, I did pause some things, but it's better than nothing. We're gonna build those 2 there, which will enable me to also delete part of this. Now, in terms of the food, how do we make that very clean? So our insect farm can fit over here, and our mess hall can also fit there. It's just shorter. It can potentially also fit here, but then we'll have a very small space left there. Thinking we put more reserves there. Or maybe we need also some reserve on this side, actually. Okay, I mean, maybe we go and put them more in the middle. So let me see there. I'm gonna pause all of those things, but just to check. How does that fit? Yeah, that fits nicely. Obviously, we don't need that many of these, but can I do the same for the infirmary? Yeah. So I can put the infirmary there, and then put another one of these here, and then we can delete all of this. Additionally, we have arrived to Jupiter, so let's check it out. Using the encrypted channel and DOLOS communication protocol found on Outer Op, we access the site, right? We've awakened up the PA, personal assistant. Diagnostics reveal that prior to the failure of the site, the facilities had been inactive for several decades, which, again, to recap, means in terms of the story, we've been gone for a long time, right? Like, we jump in time. Strangely, the industrial zone is currently powered, so let's investigate it. I haven't reached 30 yet, but we're very close. I started a new research to improve our repair efficiency, right, by 5%. That would be useful in the long term. We have also finished this one, so let's check it out. Wow, we have reached the automated construction site. Right? It's in good working condition. There is a museum dedicated to Leia Frost. The resident PA identified us as DOLOS personnel, so we got access to a new engine that is called Ixion. Okay, we see that there is also 200 of these. Wow, that is huge. Now we're gonna want to extract it by using a miner. Okay, that's fine. My miner is doing nothing right now. So we're gonna extract the engine, right, that was broken from Jupiter to put it onto our ship. To be able to put it onto our ship, though, we're gonna need to, move our ship. Here we still have 140. I definitely need to just increase my population like crazy, basically. Which means I'm probably gonna need more of these, though. We're a bit... I mean, at some point, this is gonna get empty. So let's restart that guy. And let's find a bit more of iron, if possible. Oh, yeah. Looking good. A bit of time has passed, ladies and gents. I wanted to make sure that we grew the population by a lot, like I suggested, and that we reorganize both of our sectors. They are now perfect-ish. I say perfect-ish because obviously there is a lot more that we can do. There's still a lot of research we haven't unlocked, etc. But for now, for chapter 1, this is really good. As you can see at the top, we have a lot of those optimized quarters. So instead of the basic housing, we already have advanced one. Then we have 2 infirmaries. As I mentioned before, it's a good idea if one of them explodes, you have another one. We have also a couple of these batteries. Now they cost a lot, they cost 40 of alloy, but they're going to enable us, to basically, even if we don't have any power, for more than 3 cycles, everything can work, no problem. We still have, of course, our tech lab over here. We have food production. You can see how much is it? 4, 7. We have 7 food production. We still have also our cryonic center in the middle, as well as some storage. Storage of food, storage of the alloy that needs to be delivered into the EVA airlock, but also the other resources. Speaking of the EVA airlock, we now have 2 of them, right? We used to have over here one of these docking bay. I have deleted it, and now we have an actual airlock. So with this, if I want, I can produce a lot of hull repair, like we're doing right now, plus 77, for example. So that is really good. Then we move to our second system over here, which is pretty full now, right? It used to be empty, now it's pretty full, and it's making a lot of things. First of all, we have 2 of these docking bays. We have one that is focused basically mostly on the carbon and the silicon. And how do I focus this? Is basically we put Gussie Notar over here, right? This, and if I look at Gussie Notar, I said you focus on these 2 things versus Nabrock focus on the iron. And if we go back over here, we can see that Nabrock is actually on this side. Nabrock will therefore deliver into this stockpile here, and this stockpile is very close to both of these. Because if you look there, right, this road goes all the way over here. It actually doesn't go from here. This is block. So yes, anyway, we get the iron is delivered here, then it goes into 2 steel mills. So we have 2 steel mills working 100%, and then those steel mills can deliver into 2 stockpile just next to them. On the other hand here, as I said, we're gonna get a lot more of the carbon and the silicon. I do have 1 iron just in case, if we have none of these, they bring some iron. This is more again, let me just show you quickly. This is again what you can see here, that the high priority is for Nabrock, but for Gussie Notar, there is a low priority on the iron. So it's delivered into those 3 depots there, right? And then it's gonna go into this line here, where we have 2 of those polymer refineries. They've both been built, only one is activated, but they're there. And we also have 2 electronics factory. Again, I only have 1 working right now, that's enough. So we're taking those base resource, right? Carbon and the silicon. We're then transforming it into those 2 advanced ones, right? The composite here and the electronics. It's worth noting that for the electronics, we're talking about 30 silicon to make 1 electronics. So that is really a lot. And then in the middle, we're gonna have what's needed to make all of this work. So a lot of optimized quarters, right? We have 6 to be precise. We have a canteen with production of food directly on site. If you look over here, we also have 2 infirmaries there, a couple of batteries. And then last but not least, in both of these, you can see a couple of different buildings that are a bit new. For example, here we have the Marduk Memorial. On this side, we have the Genetic Conatus Memorial, as well as the Alternative Life Centers. These provide additional stability. On both of these is +1 passive effect. And this one I just didn't build it. We're missing 1 electronic, so that should come pretty soon. And the Alternative Life Center is over here. So these things, as I said, they will give you stability. If we look over here, right, we're getting a lot of happiness, a lot of stability right now, so it's not a problem. We have +2 from the optimized quarter, +1 from the memorial, +1 from the life center, +1 from the hull, being pretty good. And we have 2 minuses. The first one you saw before, that was, they thought that everybody was dead on Earth, so they didn't like that. The second is we spent too long in the system. So there is indeed 1 maluses for spending too long into one system, but as soon as we leave the system, this will disappear. So I go back to the initial tip I gave right at the beginning, is spend as much time as you can into a sector before moving to another one. To be precise, right, first of all, we went through all of the planets, all of the points of interest, and now I'm going through as much of the reserves of especially carbon and silicon that are available. I'm pretty sure there is very few left actually, and if you look over here, we can move a lot. There is some iron, there is some ice, and some hydrogen, but I am not seeing any carbon and silicon anywhere. Oh, sorry, my bad. There is 1 silicon somewhere over here, but that's probably the last one. That's probably the last one. So we've done really good to get a lot of improvements over here. Right? Hope you can agree. This is pretty well developed. We have the right number of people, which is a lot, by the way. Here, this is only workers. Here we have a lot of non-workers, which will be something we'll talk about in the next episode. We've done some research. For example, the infirmary has been improved. We've improved also the workshop over here, the insect farm, for plus 10%, of food. But we haven't really started to touch this one. I could have. There is also some other improvement. For example, reducing, the power cost needed for steel mill could be pretty good. But I decided to wait a bit for this. Now, speaking of power though, I do want to show you that we have increased definitely our consumption, but also our production of electricity. We have now for the first panel set, the first 4, and for the second, the first 4. So that is pretty good. It does start to cost a lot of this advanced resource that we don't have a lot of. So you get a bit limited, and I think you should make sure that you keep a few always, especially as we're gonna want to move also to the next sector, and that's gonna take 2 of those electronics. But before we do, this we can continue building. There is Jupiter, right? So let's move our Tiqqun close to Jupiter. It's gonna take 2.3 cycle. This is fine. We have enough of electricity in our batteries. Because if we go back here, you can see now there is no electricity, right? It's all on batteries. But we can again see that it's 3 cycles, not a problem. I could also pause some of these if we wanted, because they're not really needed while we're in transit. In the meantime, let's make sure we check Jupiter. The extraction procedure was a success. Hephaestus PA helped us a lot during the operation. She may try to contact the Tiqqun directly. 45 of science, that's great, and it is, we're taking it out. Now we need to prepare Ixion for Tiqqun connection, but we need the Tiqqun to be there. So that's why I'm moving it now. In the meantime, let's finish a couple of small things here. Okay, we have arrived. So let's prepare the Tiqqun. It's gonna take 3 turns. In the meantime, a hull is fine. By the way, remember that, the hull, when you're close to maximum, the efficiency is very low. So what you may want to do is micromanage a bit, where you stop it for a while. So it's gonna go down, right? And then when it's, let's say, 50%, then you restart. This way you don't waste. You basically use a bit less of alloy. In our case here, I think we have a good amount of alloy, so that's great. Speaking of which, we have finished this memorial over here. You may be wondering why I chose this memorial specifically. Accident. The thing barely was barely put on, and it exploded right away. That's not nice. So it is. Let's check it out. Working together, the crew of the Tiqqun and the team of the Galileo have prepared Ixion for connection. Okay. So we can now leave, or we can dismantle it. Always dismantle, right? There's no reason to leave anything behind. What she's saying?
Team has completed a task.
What she's saying?
Tiqqun, Ixion is now in orbit and ready for installation. You are not designed to calculate your own vol coordinates. Ixion will only permit you to use previously generated coordinates, or to follow the vol signatures of others that have crossed self-similar space. To make your existence worthwhile, you will need to find the coordinates of the exoplanet that Protagoras is looking for, Remus. Vanya was right about the echoes of the future. I bestow upon you this miracle, and with it, release myself so that I may embrace the sleep that was stolen from me.
Who said you can sleep? That's not nice. That's not nice. We are low on silica, but we did find one over here. That's the last one. It's only 60 silica, so that means only 2 electronics. But still, that could be pretty good to have it. Let's see what's happening on Jupiter. Oh, we found a couple of nice things, right? Especially the 2 electronics. That's nice. And the protocol. And yeah, now we're gonna need to connect it. So this is gonna be in this panel over here, if I'm not mistaken. Right, we're gonna want to go over here and connect it. It does cost again 2 of these and 30 of the polymer, but we don't really have a choice. It's pretty fast. That's nice. Oh, what's happening there? Oh yeah, I created another ship. Come on, you can do it.
Hull integrity below 50%.
Yeah. So the hull integrity is now below 50%. And so as I said,
a new request awaits your attention.
This is the moment where you put it back on, and now my efficiency, instead of being 50%, is 87%. so we create a lot more resource easily. I see a mission here too, by the way. What is it? Yeah, we got the coordinates basically to jump. But before we do this again, there's also here.
We are ready to follow the traces of the Protagoras through self-similar space using the frequencies recovered from Outer Hope's black box. Vol systems have been adapted for the new Ixion class engine. The Tiqqun is now fully equipped to pursue our main objective: ensure humanity's survival by finding the habitable exoplanet named Remus.
Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. Now we're full here, like this is full, so let's pause it for a second. Let's make a bit more polymer and, you know, just make sure we have enough resource if we need to open another sector. Because I see when you have 2 of these, it'd be great to get a bit more food. We have a lot, people we have, so all good. And 80 of alloy, we also have that. So really the only problem is I'd love to make a bit more of this electronics. So yeah, let's make sure we gather this and then we'll jump. This is the last cargo ship with silicon on it. There's no more silicon anywhere. There's still a bit of iron, but I'm also basically full on alloy and iron, so it's not so important. So yeah, I think as soon as these guys arrive, we will then leave. And done. Let's click on the engine. We're going.
In accordance with Frau Stanford procedures, all ships must return to the Tiqqun before Volt jump initiation. Engine ready.
The engine is ready, so we can do the jump in the next episode. Please smash the like button. Do tell me in the comments if you have any questions, photo requests. Do you want to see more or less? You know, do you want me to focus more on some of the city building? Whatever it is, do tell me and I'll try to do my best. Thank you for watching and I hope to see you next time.